lunch, buddy. My ass.
I'm only 4. Bonjour, Monsieur Pussycat.
Cracking toast, Robert.
Start spreading the news.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the short podcast about short films. I am your host, and we are discussing the Academy Award for Best Animated Short. Today's episode is about the 38th year of the award at the 42nd Academy Awards, which celebrates the films of 1969. Today's guest we last heard on the pod talking about Magoo's Puddle Jumper and the nominees of 1956. Remember that?
God, I forgot we even watched that one.
Please welcome Jacob Sanchez. Hello, Jacob.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great. Yeah, Magoo's Puddle Jumper won that year. Remember?
The Jaywalker too.
That was the good
the
one,
Academy
yeah.
smoking.
But remind us, what is your familiarity with the Best Animated Short category?
I would attempt to watch them every Oscar season I could, but like half the time they weren't really available. Or there would be some that would be on Disney streaming services or whatnot, or available online. But I tried to watch whenever I could, but it would mainly be the Disney ones. So this was so this has been a pretty good time to go back and watch some that I missed, like the Jaywalker, for instance, or like the Peace on Earth and the Ugly Duckling shorts, which are the ones that I most enjoyed out of all of these.
Well, I'm excited to find out which of today's nominees are going to go onto that list of ones you like.
I'm so excited. I'm very excited.
So yeah, then let's get into these nominees then. This year has only 3. Our first nominee and the year's winner is It's Tough to Be a Bird, directed by Ward Kimball. This is the first and only nomination and win for Ward Kimball. This is the first nomination for a Disney short film without Walt Disney producing it, as he died in 1966. That also makes this the 40th nomination and 13th win for the Disney studio overall. This is also going to be the last win for a Disney-produced short film until the 2010s. We're going to see a major...
Whoa! I did not know that.
Yeah, and we're going to see a major decrease in the amount of animated short films produced by Disney. They had already taken a hit when they shut down their short animation studio in 1956. But even then, the 1960s had 12 short films made by Disney, including 5 Oscar nominees. And then in the next 30 years, they will only make 14 theatrical shorts, 3 of which will end up Oscar nominated.
So you're not counting the ones by Pixar?
No, Pixar is its own thing. And I mentioned that later on in my paragraph. It'll take another 43 years before we see another Disney short film win an Oscar. And as I just mentioned, no, Pixar does not count towards the Disney total, not even after Disney buys them. And as for the director-producer Ward Kimball, he was one of Disney's famed 9 old men, a group of longtime Disney animators who are perhaps more responsible for the fame and legacy of Disney animation than Walt Disney himself. Kimball specifically was a lead animator for characters like Jiminy Cricket, Cheshire Cat, Mad Hatter, Captain Hook, and directed previous Oscar winner Toot, Whistle, Plunk, and Boom. Outside of Disney, he made an anti-Vietnam War short film called Escalation, in which a caricature of Lyndon B. Johnson's nose grows and erects in a very phallic manner, before turning into a montage of images representing Americana and war. It's a great short. Check it out.
I gotta see this. Oh my God, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, I just wanted to briefly mention it because I think it's very fun. And just the fact that a guy who was at Disney for so long made this short outside of Disney, of course. Like, he didn't put Walt's name on it or anything. But yeah, going back to the winner at hand, It's Tough to Be a Bird is an educational and comedic short film about the history of birds and how humans have been giving them trouble. Jacob, what did you think of today's winner?
See, now that you mentioned that this was the first short produced after Walt Disney died, that makes so much sense, because even though there's an anthropomorphic talking bird in this one, telling you to like, be careful around birds and like, help save the birds and whatnot. The cartoons that this reminded me of were the UPI shorts that we talked about when we were talking about this show, or the UPA, excuse me, UPA. And I kept thinking about the way it used color and shape more than like, focusing on the fact that it was like a talking bird and whatnot. And also reminded me a lot of Your Friend the Rat, that Ratatouille short that was like a bonus on the DVD that was like educating the viewers at hand about rats. And like I think that short even pays homage to It's Tough Being a Bird, again with the way it uses animation. And I thought as a result, like this is one of the more creative Disney shorts that I've seen, especially with the motion of it all, and the fact that it has like these, again, it manages to mix these like, like a very vibrant movements and shapes with these like very Chuck Jones-esque gags. Like especially like my favorite bit in the short is the Birds Anonymous, where where it's like, hey, if you're thinking about shooting a bird, you gotta like call this number first, and then like the bird answers the phone and he gets shot like over the speaker. I was laughing my ass off at that bit.
I just want to mention when I saw Birds Anonymous brought up, that's the name of another Oscar-winning short. It's a Looney Tunes short about how Sylvester he wants to try and get off birds and goes to Birds Anonymous. And so seeing that reference, it's just like, oh hey.
So it's an homage. I didn't know that. I don't think
it's
I've
not
seen
intentionally an homage. I think it's just two things using the same terminology, but still, it's just a funny coincidence. But yeah, I agree. I really like this short. It is. My only criticism is like it's maybe a bit too long. It goes on for 20 minutes, but still, it's fun. It's kind of educational. It's like they do try to say some facts about birds, but also they just kind of make stuff up at points, and it's just like it doesn't really draw a line between like what it's trying to educate you on and what it's trying to make some jokes about, like about certain things. I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but it's just, I don't know. It's
a
the
bit... Julius Caesar bit. Was it that one, or like or I'm trying to think of like the other one, which was I don't know. I can't think of any either, which may have been like
there's a lot of jokes in this short.
I took it first and foremost as a comedy short, and I thought I thought them shouting out the buzzard and all the kids going to the zoo to see the buzzard, I thought was very sweet.
Yeah, I like that scene where it's like they go to that one town that's like one day a year they have like the day of the buzzard or whatever. It's like it made me like I just wanted to like look up that town, and it's just like it got me thinking about like the people who live in that town as this like their town is just a small kind of nothing town, and then one day a year all these people come to talk about buzzards. It's interesting.
You know what? Hell yeah! But the buzzards, they're just doing their thing. Like, they gotta eat. So they see a dead person. What are they gonna do? Just like fly past it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I really like the end. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead first.
Okay. No, I really like the ending to this short. It's very Terry Gilliam inspired. It looked like a lot of those, like a lot of his Monty Python cartoons. It definitely, again, like the way, like, it ends with that, like, again, doubly says to me that like a lot of Disney animators may have been more free to experiment and to like, add this sort of, style to their cartoons after like Daddy Walt or Uncle Walt was like
Daddy Walt.
Uncle Walt wasn't like, breathing down their necks.
Yeah, although it should be said that like we did see a bit of this kind of experimentation in some of the other Disney shorts of this era. Like there's a lot of experimentation in terms of like the animation style. Oh, like the previous nominee in this category from Disney, Symposium Popular Songs, that mixes like the traditional 2D animation and stop motion animation in some interesting ways. And some of the other nominees, like there's a wholly stop motion short called Noah's Ark, which I was surprised to that was Disney, that they did stop motion at points. But anyway, the thing I wanted to just briefly say is that at one point in the short, the main bird who's like narrating the whole thing, and by the way, I think he's hilarious. I love him. They should bring him. I want to meet him in the parks. There's one point he's going through a list of like all these birds who are like endangered, and I decided to look up like how all of those birds are doing, and thankfully like most of them are not endangered anymore. Like they're all in the quote unquote least concern category. The only one that is still endangered is the California condor. And so, hey, animal preservationists out there, I know you're probably on this, but come on, let's do something for the California condor. Let's not disappoint the fucking red bird from this random short film that we're watching today.
Yeah, I adore those birds. I'm glad the peregrine falcon wasn't any danger. That was my favorite bird as a kid.
Yeah, peregrine falcon's doing all right. Oh, do you love Royal Tenenbaums?
Yes. Go Mordecai. That's one of my favorite Wes Andersons. Actually, my love of Falcon started when I watched Stuart Little 2.
Oh,
because I thought the Falcon was the best character in the movie.
I haven't seen either Stuart Little.
Oh, they're classics? Question mark. I don't. I haven't seen them in ages. I have zero desire to really kind of rewatch them, but I feel like if I put on Stuart Little 2 right now, I could memorize it. I could like recite every word because I watched that movie so many times as a kid.
Yeah, I want to watch the first one at least because that's the only thing I'm missing in my M. Night Shyamalan marathon. He wrote that.
Oh, that's right, he did. Oh my god. You know what? Hey, it's better than like the original, which is like or better question mark than I think like or like because the original book had like I think it was just like a 2-inch tall person versus the movie, which I think is a mouse. Yeah, or which I think is a mouse. I know it's a mouse, but yeah. Like God, what a weird movie that is.
Yeah,
and
there's like those viral tweets all the time who are like, imagine being a kid in an orphanage and these people coming in and adopt a mouse.
Yeah, yeah, that's how you get the villain for Meet the Robinsons right there.
Yes. Oh my god. Yeah, like I would definitely have a vendetta against that one family.
Fucking mouse. But oh god, and back to the short, if I may, like I want to bring up Walt Kimball. He is
Ward
great.
Kimball.
Or Ward Kimball. He's the strike breaker, isn't he? Or at least like he was the one who crossed the picket lines.
Oh yeah, he's one of the scabs.
Yeah, the scabs, yeah.
Fuck him.
Fuck you, Ward. Although like Alice in Wonderland wouldn't be the same without you. So slight free pass.
Yeah, the fact that he is like one of Disney's 9 old men, he's like one of the famous big people in Disney Studio, shows that he might be a bit anti-union, considering the fact he's had such a good relationship with Walt for so long.
Yeah, but and then I wonder like too, like because between this and the Vietnam War short, like he did attempt to make these like very socially conscious messages, and yet here he is being anti-union.
People are complex, and also maybe
yes,
maybe this is a thing of like when in his old days he like about how a person can change over time, and said something like that.
Yeah, I feel you.
Also, I remember I did read that on his Wikipedia page, like doing research and stuff. It's just like he was saying that like his reasoning for it, let's say, was the fact that he had like friends on both sides of the picket line, like just trying to tell him to join their side, like people who's striking and people who, other scabs were both like telling him like, hey, you should come join us. And then he's kind of torn, and I guess he decided to go back to work. I don't know. But
Yeah.
it's not a good excuse, but it's an excuse he had.
But regarding his art, his short film here, I did think was actually very good. I laughed quite a bit. I enjoyed the facts about birds. Actually, I think the one that was made up was again, or it was in the story, but like it was funny how the film kind of treated as fact was the Noah's Ark. That I thought was, and the little like Mustang joke fucking made me.
Yes. Oh yeah. When it's just going through the animals on Noah's Ark, and then one of them's just a fucking car, Mustang.
God.
Just imagining like the next one's just a Toyota Corolla or something. Yeah, that was a good bit. But yeah, this is a good short. Good, fun,
I had fun.
educational short about birds. And I think it's worth noting. I've mentioned this in other episodes, but it's just like at this point in terms of like when Disney was making shorts, most of the time when they did it was just for like educational purposes, because like, we had a lot of shorts that were like about like American folk tales, or like Donald Duck had a few like educational shorts in this at this time period. It as just like just to be like shown in schools and whatever, and so.
Yeah.
And it's like just very rare for there to be short that wasn't educational and also wasn't attempting to like try out some new animation methods. Like one of the non-educational shorts, this goofy short called Aquamania, which was nominated, that was to test out the new Xerox animation or Xerox process for like transferring the pencil sketches to animation cells. And that's the reason we have like the scratchy Disney style of the 60s and 70s. Anyway,
Yeah.
just vomiting facts at you.
No, it's all interesting. I've been learning a lot doing this podcast.
Yeah. But yeah, that's about it for Stuff to Beat a Bird. Would you like to move on, or do you have anything else you'd like to say?
Let's go with the next one.
All right. So our second nominee is Of Men and Demons, directed by John Hubley. This is the 5th nomination for John Hubley and the 4th nomination for Faith Hubley, our beloved husband and wife animation duo. And this is the first time that either of them have been nominated without winning. Or wait, actually, that might be wrong. I think it's actually last year. I remembered I forgot to put that in the script, but I forgot which episode it was. Never mind. Just ignore that. Pretend you heard it last episode, because you probably did. The short was a commission from IBM for the 1970 World Exposition in Osaka, Japan, and features music from Quincy Jones. The film is about a man living by himself, fishing, farming, sleeping, eating, but 3 demons of water, fire, and wind just decide to say, fuck this guy in particular, and wreck his shit up. But to their surprise, he seems to persevere. So I am a big Faith and John Hubley fan. I love a lot of their shorts. This one I did not love as much. I liked it. It was fun, but I think the fact that like it's a very slow moving short, or for me at least, is it's like it spends a lot of time in between just going back and forth between like the farmer doing his shit and then going to the demons who are talking, but I don't think they are speaking a language. Like they're just making noises. It's just like I don't know what they're saying, and they spend a lot of time on what they are saying, and it's just like, what, just do something, please. I like the story of the short, how it's like every time that the 3 demons like try to mess with the farmer guy, he just he instead just advances technologically. He ends as like, I like how it's kind of portraying the just the human advancement of technology. It's like a 2001 A Space Odyssey in a way.
Yeah.
But
I don't
yeah,
know. I kind of love this one, honestly. Again, like, I didn't realize that it was John and Faith Hubley before watching it. And again, my mind kept thinking back to those UPA shorts. And while
yeah,
watching this, it's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense
their names are in
because
the
it's the
opening
same people.
credits.
Yeah. I didn't put two and two together until the end, and I'm like, oh wait, yeah, it's the same. It's the same people. But I don't know. I I really enjoyed this one myself. I again loved the movement, loved the designs of the demons, loved like the whole kind of perseverance aspect the short is going for. It's very, I hope this one gets like a big HD remaster or something like that, because it's very
Yes.
like the only copies you could find are like the ones that are like, very primitive. But honestly, like, I was able to see right through it and just really, really enjoy this short. And again, like, kind of see the progress of human technology. And again, like, I loved the way that I love the movement. That's what I keep coming back to in all three of these
Hmm.
shorts, actually. And which is, again, like, I love the way like the fisherman runs, and I love the way that each demon has their own unique way of moving and their own unique designs. I don't know. I had a really great time with this one.
Yeah, I always love the way the Hubblies animate their characters. They always move in such interesting ways. It's just it's really just so much fun to watch. They take a lot. They always try to have fun with the movement of their characters. Um, but yeah, I agree that like I not just this short, but like all the Hubley shorts, they are desperate need in terms of remasters. It's just like recently a few of their shorts were added to the Criterion channel, and that like gave me such hope that like, oh, maybe Criterion is working on a Hubley compilation or something, which
I
I
would
don't.
love to see that. Wait, is it on Criterion Channel?
I at least used to be. I haven't checked in a while. I'm not even sure if this one is. Let me check. Um, but yeah. So I would really love to see a restoration and like a compilation disc is for this, but I'm not sure it is. We have They have 6 films by the Hubblies on here. Let's see which 6 they are.
Oh,
Bu- bu- bu. Okay, so we've got Date with Dizzy, Tender Game. Oh, they have more than that. Wow. Tender Game, Moonbird, Of Stars and Men, The Hole, The Hat, Urbanissima, Windy Day, Zuckerland, Eggs, Cockabooty, Everybody Rides the Carousel, Tall Time Tales, and Witch Madness. No, not this short. This one isn't on there, but
I'm gonna have to check all these out. Oh my
several other ones
goodness.
are there. Which, yes, I definitely recommend you and also the people who are listening right now watch all of these shorts if you have Criterion Channel. Even if you don't, these are all on YouTube or archive.org or things like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of good stuff in here. I especially recommend Tender Game. Hey, that is one of my favorite shorts ever. Maybe my favorite
Ooh.
short ever. Yeah,
Oh, damn. Okay, that's high praise. So I'm definitely gonna have to. That's one I'm adding to the watch list.
yeah.
And also, the fire demon in this film is my baby. I love this fire demon so much. Like, they kept, like, even with the perseverance aspect, I was like, no. Y'all got to persevere too, and just like keep trying to wreck this poor guy's shit.
I really like the ending of this one where it's just like it kind of really just seems like the demon, like the farmer has advanced into this really high-tech environment, and the demons are like really distraught. Like, what the hell do we do to fuck this guy's shit up? And then it's just like, and then at the last second, it's like I think it's the wind demon who is just like who starts talking to the other ones to hatch in a plan. And there's a lot of ways you could interpret that, but I think the way he's interpreting that is like nuclear war or something like that. because that is a common theme of Hubley shorts, or it's at this time. So yeah, maybe it's that.
Oh shit! Oh god! Now that actually, oh shit! That adds a like layer of darkness to this whole thing. Oh god damn! The oh god, like and that makes the perseverance metaphor even stronger. God, I didn't even think about that until now. Like, because I was just thinking how it was going to be like, a big case of like, because it could be a metaphor for anything, like, or
Yeah.
like at the simplest terms, like, anxiety attacks. But now thinking about it, I'm like, wait a minute, these designs are red, white, and blue, aren't they?
I'm
like,
I'm not sure that's the intention of it, but it's still there. Like, I think they did just want to do like and the windfire. I think that's actually like has something to do with the Japanese folklore. I'm not an expert in this, I don't know, but I think like those three demons are like something.
Yeah. I don't know. They're just I don't know. I really love their designs. I love their movements. Honestly, just love this short in general.
Yeah. The Hubblies, they're great. This is a good short. Having fun with it. Ready to move on?
Yep, absolutely.
Our third and final nominee is Walking, directed by Ryan Larkin. I just want to say this is the first year where all the nominees were directed and produced by the same people. Like, that's really exciting to me. It's like no longer are like, or less often do we have like the studios dictating, hey, like, oh, you have to make this kind of short, and the directors just kind of have to follow along. Like, these are artists making what they want to do, what they're passionate about, and that's really exciting. This is the first and only nomination for Ryan Larkin. However, Larkin will be the subject of another nominee down the line, 2004's Ryan. This is also,
I gotta see that.
Yeah, and you will. You are coming back for that episode, hopefully.
Oh, I am very excited.
I specifically wrote you down for that episode because I wrote you down for this one. But yes, this is also the 7th nomination for NFB, the National Film Board of Canada. Ryan Larkin started at NFB in 1962, learning a lot about animation from the great Norman McLaren. Larkin directed 4 films with NFB: Walking, Syrinx from 1965, Cityscape from 66, and then Street Music in 72. He would eventually leave NFB in 1978, and I'll save the rest of his life story for when we talk about the film Ryan next year. As in 2024, we will talk about it, not like the next episode. For which I hope Jake will join us again. Who knows?
Oh, absolutely. Especially like if you have me penciled in for that one, I'm excited because like I don't know what the rest of the nominees are, but I would definitely be down to watch Ryan.
Yeah,
because
it's really good.
Okay. Yeah. No, this is definitely my favorite of the bunch. Walking, I thought.
Wait, let me get through my.
Oh shit! I'm so sorry.
Going back to Walking, it is animated in ink wash painting style, which has its origins in Chinese calligraphy. Larkin chose this style to distinguish it from his first 2 shorts, which were done with charcoal rather than ink. The short, as the title may suggest, is a series of interpretations of people walking. That may sound simplistic, but I assure you it's much more than meets the eye. Jacob, what did you think of Walking?
I loved it. This is my favorite short of the bunch. Honestly, maybe my favorite short. Like, definitely, I don't know if it's my favorite short that's ever been nominated for anime short that's ever been nominated for an Oscar, but it's definitely the one my favorite that I've had to watch for this podcast. Like, it's very simple. It's just it's him trying to express different movements of the simple act of walking. And there's like, it's not really educational, like it's tough to be a bird, there's no real story to it, like of demons and men, but watching this and watching the different expressions of walking, watching this very creative, very experimental animation, and listening to this beautiful goddamn music.
Mhm.
I was watching this and like absolutely in awe of what I was seeing. I watched it again afterwards, and then I watched one of Larkin's other films, Street Music, the one you said,
Yeah.
which I thought was also brilliant. And I was like, I'm gonna have to watch more of his films now. I'm gonna have to watch the rest of his 60s and 70s work because I thought this was absolutely breathtaking. Like,
Yeah.
oh god, sorry.
Oh, no, you keep going.
I just no, I probably was just gonna keep using hyperbole. I just really, really love this.
Oh, it's not hyperbole. It's just fact. I also love
Exactly.
this.
Mhm.
This is so beautiful. Well, it's like this is the kind of thing that that makes me just love short films because it takes something just so simple. Well, just images of people walking and then just finds just some profound way to portray it and uses animation so beautifully. And it's like the act of walking is something that is so important in terms of animation anyway. It's like the walk is what defines a person, and it's the way you can really express your character without any words. And so to just like have a whole short about that, just so watching these different people just walk, again, it sounds like it's boring or nothing, but it's so good. It's so good. Oh
It
my
is.
god.
I You can tell every emotion just through these walks. Like it kind of keeps circling back to just one person, like who's got his hands in his pockets, just
Yeah.
walking.
Walking
And
towards the camera.
walking towards the camera, and like it looks like their head is facing down on the ground, and they just look like, they got their hands in their pockets, and then you can start to kind of build the whole scene in your head,
Mhm.
like you can imagine snow falling or something like that, or just especially because it's Canada, and like there's and with the music, like everything just kind of looks very contemplative.
Mhm.
Or you have like this one where like their feet are just kind of like, and their legs are just like taking huge steps. So they look a little more jolly. Like
Mhm.
even though there's no facial expressions on there, you could just tell just from the way their legs move. Or like, or even like, with just a bunch of people walking together, there's much more of a communal aspect to it.
Mhm.
And again, like with the colors themselves, I'm mainly thinking of the pink and the purple, which uh which I think definitely also kind of helps showcase, the feelings of these characters all without facial expressions. I think maybe if you squint hard at the final shot, at the final frames of this person walking, you can see a bit of a facial expression, but it's all done through, like there's no traditional eyes or face or
Mhm.
nose or whatnot. And I think as a result, it's just really, really beautiful.
Yeah, it's just so amazing. I really like it for like the fact that it it's kind of it makes me think of like so I think the person who is walking towards the camera that we keep seeing over and over again, I think that's meant to be a kind of self-insert for Ryan Larkin himself. It does kind of look like him
Mm,
from what pictures I've seen. And it's like I this short kind of gives me it's like a animated representation of like what it's like to people watch. You just sit down somewhere and just watch the people all walk by. And it's just like it takes that feeling you have of just like imagining all these different people's lives. It's just like, and all you know about them is just the way they're walking, how where they're walking towards. Maybe if they're talking, you can get something, but really, you just see these different people, all these different people, and it's just like you have no idea what their lives are, but it's just like you can only imagine. But through their
mm,
walk, you can make some guesses because that just says so much about a person.
yeah.
And also, I wanted to say that I always also reminded of the work of Edward Muybridge, I think is how you pronounce his name. He was like this very early filmmaker in like the late 1800s. Who's
Mm,
he was just making all these different uh filming all these people in motion, just like watching them do different things. He had a bunch of women naked and just filmed them, and it's just like it was meant to be a document of like way people move for like reference for like scientists and art. I assume artists too. And it's just like that just came to mind while watching this. It's just like this is a document of the movement of people, and it's just so beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, I think you're right in the fact that like it was a self-insert for Ryan Larkin, because I remember reading that he himself like studied his own movements while making this picture. So it definitely could be a self-insert for Ryan Larkin. And yeah, and I love the way minimal background is kind of used to imply this universality.
Yeah, God, this is just so good. And I just want to say that after I had researched this video, I decided to like go through all of Ryan Larkin's other films, which unfortunately there's only 4 other movies that he made, that he directed. And it's just like that amounts to like only like 20 minutes of content at most, because like his first 2, Syrinx and Cityscape, are less than 5 minutes in total. Like the 2 of them, they are short as hell, which sucks because they're so great. And then Street Music, I think, goes on for like 10
It's
minutes.
about 12 minutes.
Yeah. He had another one that he made after the success of Ryan, and he was able to make one more short film, although he passed away during the making of it, and he had a collaborator was finished it for him, which is very sad, but at least we did get one more movie from him. It's just like it's so, and I commented on this, it's just like it's so sad when you get into short films, because it's like, especially like animated short films, because the people in it often don't have the resources to really direct as much as perhaps they would like to. And so when you start finding these filmmakers that you like you end up finding out that like their whole life's work, it takes as much time as like an episode of some sitcom or something. It's just like that is all we have. It's just like, it's so kind of depressing, but still, at least we have what we have.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And then here's to Ryan. I'll be watching the rest of their short films later. Again, Street Music I also thought was very beautiful. There is a real beauty to walk in, and one that I always find very comforting too. Just like the idea of loneliness and the duality of loneliness and community, and of course the again, just the fact that it's a very universal film, and we are, we're just a bunch of people walking, and
hey, I'm walking.
I find walking to be like the most comforting. I love to go on walks, like, and just even if it's around my crummy little town, like, and just like kind of just stare at everything. Like the sun's out, I may go for a walk later today before I go to the movies. And I just love that, and listening to, I would probably listen to music like this, actually, what's in the film, with like that very kind of jazzy bass line, or those like acoustic guitars. That stuff I normally gravitate towards when I listen to music, or when I want to put on music. So yeah, I thought this was extremely beautiful, and just in general, one of the best first watches I've had this year.
Yeah, it is such a good short, and I just want to say that this is my favorite Ryan Larkin short as well. Like, this is a masterpiece. It's become one of my favorite nominees in this whole category. But yeah, I think that's a good place to end. Now that we've gone through and talked about these 3 nominees, let's rank them all. Jacob, start us off with your number 3.
Number 3 is going to be It's Tough to Be a Bird. Very fun film, very good film. I don't know, I guess I just like these other 2 more, and I do agree with the notion that maybe it did run a little too long, especially compared to these other 2.
My number 3 is Of Men and Demons, and it's like I hate how, like, even though I proclaim myself to be a Hubley fan, this is the second time I've put one of their shorts as last in their lineup. But it's like I love a lot of their films. I appreciate them as filmmakers. They're so admirable, but it's like some of their nominated films are my favorites. So, uh, but yeah, number 2.
My number 2 would, of course, be Of Men and Demons. I don't know. This is one that I keep that I definitely want to return to kind of like pick up the little quirks that I missed the first time. And I don't know. I again love the movements on this one. Love the story. Love the way it's basically told with no dialogue.
My number 2 is, of course, It's Tough to Be a Bird. Had a lot of fun with it. It's a very good time, but it does run a bit long. But still, it's a good quality Disney short. It's worth checking out if you have the time for it. Number 1.
And my number 1, yeah, it's Walking, the same as
Walking.
yours.
Of course. I would need to have a long and serious talk with someone who doesn't pick Walking in this lineup. Because even though the other two are good, it's just like, God, Walking is incomparable. It's so perfect. I need all of you who are listening right now to watch Walking. It's only 5 minutes. You can do it. It's perfect. It's beautiful.
And it's on YouTube in like full HD quality. Yeah. It looks, the transfer is beautiful.
That is what I love so much about NFB, because since they're like publicly funded by, Canada, it's like their YouTube channel is just filled with all these high quality transfers of so many of their short films. So many. They make all these different documentaries and animation, and it's like decades upon decades of work is just there, and it is just so phenomenal that we have this resource, or especially since NFB makes so much good shit. It is insane. Like, if you ever want to just spend an afternoon watching short films, just go to the NFB YouTube channel. I think they have a lot of playlists of like different filmmakers or things like that. Just go through it. It's great. Hey,
yeah, definitely want to now.
But before we get to the end of our show, for the first time ever, we have a viewer submitted question. This comes from frequent guest of the show, Christoph. He asks, if Bambi Meets Godzilla was a 4th nominee, where would you place it in your lineup? So just to explain, Bambi Meets Godzilla is an under 2-minute short film about what would happen if Bambi were to meet Godzilla. And so, Jacob, I asked you to watch this short film. What did you think of it, and where would you put it in your ranking of the 3 nominees?
I got exactly what I expected for Bambi Meets Godzilla, and it's at a number 2. I would put it at number 2 because it's just like, I watched it, I knew exactly what was coming, and yet all my expectations were delivered. 8 out of 10.
And that's above Men and Demons?
Yep.
Okay. But yeah, Bambi Meets Godzilla, it's a classic of kind of shit postery. And it is, I love how long the credits go on before and after the short itself. It's just like and there's so many gags on those credits too, like how it's just like a lot of it's just the same guy over and over again. And I forget, there's some jokes I liked, but I forgot what they were, because there's really just one thing in the short that I won't spoil for those viewing at home, but there's really just one thing that happens in the short, and it's great. It's hilarious. I would probably it's around It's Tough to Be a Bird. I think I would also put it at number 2, like just slightly above it, but yeah. All right. So that's Bambi Meets Godzilla. And before we end our show, are there any final thoughts you'd like to share, Jacob, or anything you'd like to promote?
Not much. I mean, my most recent article on Substack, on my Substack, on my Twitter page at pun_trash, is where I talk about my 25 favorite records of 1990. I hope soon, after this Oscar ceremony, to start to like kind of not rebrand the blog, but just kind of also like start writing about each of the best picture winners. I was going to do that earlier, but I decided like I've got too many movies on my plate right now, so I'll just wait until the Oscars are done. Yeah, follow me on Twitter at @pun_trash. I love you. Have a good day.
I love you too, Jacob. Well, thank you, Jacob, for coming on the show. And thank you, listener, for tuning in. This has been the Short Podcast about short films. Until next time, goodbye.